So let me ask you this. So people keep saying this, but I think it's hilarious. I guess this is one of his bars.
I was going to bring this up too.
I'm sick of people telling people I'm here because of marketing dollars.
You think everything's gonna blow just because you market it harder? That was my NF voice.
Yeah, you're the NF fan in this conversation. Okay, you can't do the NF voice. So, so no one is assuming that he's here just because of marketing dollars.
Right, and you can see that as proof because labels sign a lot of people.
A lot of artists.
And most of them do not experience the same successes.
100%.
And same thing, I mean, like people bring other elements of it too. People say, well, this is white privilege in music. And I think, there's a component to that. America's a predominantly white country, and a majority of people have an identifier with him. But also, there's lots of white people that get signed that do not experience. That's not the variable that did it for him.
Yes.
Was it a factor? Yes.
It all was a factor. So
but none of them were the magic moment. It's like it's a culmination.
It's a culmination
of
of
things, including right place at the right time.
Yes. Now let me ask you this, because I keep hearing this and it bugs me. Yo, NF doesn't even market his albums, dog. NF don't even market his albums. What are you guys talking about? NF doesn't even market his albums, dog. There's no marketing behind NF at all. You're stupid. He's not even on Instagram, dog.
Well, I think the first response to that is every single piece of content you see from NF is marketing. It's all branding. And he's so his elusiveness, his mysteriousness, it's all part of a formulated and deliberate branding effort. And specifically NF's beginning, I know numbers I'm not supposed to know.
Yeah, this is a guy. Just so you know, this is a very difficult conversation for me and Mowgli to navigate because we both know more than we should. I legitimately know more than I should, and so we're trying to really step around certain.
But to say that NF was not marketed is just empirically untrue.
Yes.
Like the direct to fan marketing on YouTube and Facebook was extreme, and that's not to downplay it because lots of people spend extreme amounts of money on marketing and they do not connect.
From your knowledge of Facebook and marketing ads and what they cost, not just anecdotally, we're talking how much?
How much did they spend?
How much do you think they spent?
Well over $100,000.
Multiple six figures.
Multiple six figures.
Okay.
Just on the ads. That's not including the production, which is also extreme.
Okay, so that you guys do what you want with that. That's just literally looking at Facebook ads, and then we also
Now, I think one of the really interesting things with NF though is just that you can follow his trajectory, and very similar to Logic in this way, that there was an ad jumpstart, and then his brand was so consistent. And I think no matter what you think about NF, you can think his music is terrible, but if you cannot take value from his brand consistency, then you need to pay attention. Like, he's one of the most consistent dudes that's making music, 100%. And he's been like that for a while. So they got a jump start. They had their content correct. They had the brand strategy correct. They had the consistency correct, and it really, really worked. And he was aggressive with key videos that all fit his aesthetic, and he translated the aesthetic to touring. Even before Let You Down blew up, he was going crazy. Even before, and the fans were supporting on iTunes like crazy too. On Billboard, he had a #1 album. He had a #1 hip hop album before he had a single that blew up. And that was the same situation with Logic before his 1-800 song. So they were going crazy, and then he caught his moment, unironically, and he had a song work through the Spotify algorithmic ecosystem. It blew up and it started charting in Europe first. I think it was like Denmark or something. It caught into that top 50, and then it spread to other countries. And before you know it, there's a global top 50 song from this guy NF. And once it's there, the discovery is just bananas.
It's out of there.
And then once it's there, then it goes to legitimate terrestrial radio. And he has a song that is going to define that year for everybody that was in tune with music, forever.
So if you are an NF fan and you've been here since the Exist days, you've been here since this version of NF, man, kudos to you. If you think they didn't spend any marketing dollars and he does no marketing, you're entitled to your opinion, right? But if you're an NF fan post pop song, post pop single. If you're an NF fan, post Capital, and you did not see any of this stuff, which again, there was funding behind this stuff, then I think you're just being a bit short-sighted in what was happening here. And let's just backtrack. Marketing. Sean Cannell dropped a fire quote. He was in a stream the other day. He dropped a quote and he said, "Content is king, but marketing is queen."
Absolutely.
Yeah. And marketing listen, content is the music, but the marketing is everything around the music. So those of you guys that don't think there's marketing, it's the same thing for Kendrick, right? Like people are like, oh, Kendrick doesn't market his music. He's so mysterious. That is the marketing.
Yeah.
That is the marketing.
And the same thing with NF. Like, when he deletes all his posts and he changes pictures to black or whatever, it's like, okay, yeah, that's the marketing.
Yep.
You know what's coming. You know what's about to happen.
Yep.
He does those cryptic little tweets or Instagram posts with like one word, or he'll spell out something or whatever. It's all marketing. That's all marketing. And now he has a platform, so he is scaled effectively, to where he can do a lot without paying the same. But I mean.
So at this point, they're not going to run Facebook and YouTube ads for NF, just like they're not going to run Facebook and YouTube ads for Kendrick Lamar.
Although they were with his last album.
They were running Facebook ads.
And because even the biggest artist, Selena Gomez, once you get to a certain area, even when you're extremely successful, the label has an interest to try to give you an extra push to get you that #1 spot.
Yes.
Because if you can secure the #1, that's an organic move.
Yep.
That's press that you can't. Well, they try to buy.
It's more social proof.
Yep.
It's more social proof.
But I do want to post. I want to push back, and I'm not necessarily on you, but I do see a pervasive attitude, especially within Christian hip hop. And to be honest, I think it comes from a place of bitterness.
Absolutely.
And it's that, oh well, if I had the same dollars behind me, well, yeah, I'd be out of here. People wouldn't even talk about NF. I mean, if I had the same privileges that he had, no, you wouldn't. Straight up, like you can plan for everything, but not everything translates. Not if you saw the amount of money that labels spend on people, and the amount of marketing money that they put behind all these artists that you've never heard of, you would realize that. It's not just the money. It's not just the money. So people have to give NF his flowers there.
Absolutely, it's the combination of the right songs with the right look,
the right brand,
with the right look and the right
brand
at the right time,
at the right time to the right people.
So the right people and the right content. He caught the wave early of what is now the standard content, applicable, encouraging, empowering for you guys. What if you became financially independent, saved your money, lived on nothing, right? Got out of debt, and you figured out your brand, and you figured out your aesthetic, and you figured out what you were about and the mission of it, and made the best music you can, and then you poured $20, $30, $40, $50,000 into your own advertising.
Yeah, I know a very close friend of one of mine that is, he's debt free, and he was in a situation this year where he's like, yeah, I can drop $40,000 into my music career this year.
And what happened?
He's exploding.
Yep.
And the great thing is when you're independent and you own things, you own it yourself. You actually get a different type of scalability than a label situation. Because a label's investing all this money, but it's coming out of what you would make from the record.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if they invest $100,000, that money is coming out of $100,000 plus way more that you would have made from your own music.
It's a really bad interest rate. So the goal, guys, don't be in a position where you need a machine behind you. And granted, it was different times back then. Maybe if NF was getting in the game now, he could be an independent artist, or maybe he's independent now.
Could. Yeah.